This Organized Chaos video is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Let's see what Nerdrotics said about the first Black Panther. Okay, we're definitely not going to watch this whole thing. Is it just the podcast? I know he did older form stuffs in the old stuff. Let's see.
Case says...
Oh, did I start watching it at some point? Let's see. Here. Can we get, like, highlights?
Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Podcast. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live.
There's not highlights. Is this the highest resolution, too? This seems really low resolution right now. There we go. Yeah, I'm not seeing highlights for the video.
Live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com. And down south in San Diego is my good friend, my pal, my soulmate, Dennis Bethalkis. What is up, Dennis?
Nothing much. What's going on, work?
Wow, totally different energy from Nerdrotic, man. This is... Jesus.
Wife?
Just working. Bringing home the bacon. Frying it up in a pan. So I never want to go this long without podcasting again. This was too long. It was almost a week. I was starting to get like withdrawals, as like it was
jitters.
Bad. Jitters, itching, irritable,
Hair in places you've never had hair before.
Well, no, I'm in my 40s. That's already happened.
Also, your nose, your back.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. That's not a good way to start a podcast. Hi, everybody. How's it going in the chat? This is where you kind of take over our podcast, hopefully, because our content's a little light tonight. We're just talking about the 18th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just kind of flew under the radar. Not controversial at all. A little movie called Black Panther. Dennis saw it Thursday. I was supposed to see it Thursday. We were supposed to podcast Friday night, but there was a miscommunication with my good friend who buys the tickets, and it's all cool. I mean, he goes out and gets the tickets for us, and the whole family goes, and we have a great time. And I had a great time at Black Panther. I thought it was pretty good. That's the short spoiler-free review from this.
God, old Nerdrotic is so different.
Point on, it's going to be full of spoilers, by the way. So, but I don't know. What did you think of Black Panther, Dennis?
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was I think my expectations were too high for it, to tell you the truth, because I kept seeing all these reviews saying it's, a game changer, revolutionary, all this kind of stuff. And I kind of watched them like, it was all right. So it wasn't anything that kind of, knocked my socks off.
Yeah, there was a lot of hyperbole around this, and there are a lot of reasons for that. But, we're just going to talk about it on the merits of it being a film, a superhero.
No, this is Nerdrotic that I could see myself just watching this. Like, this is I'm not watching this all on the stream, Jesus. But, we'll maybe get through the first 10 minutes when they get the highlights. But, yeah, this is, actually something I could see myself watching. This is, old school Nerdrotic, where he was just, a normal fan before his facial hair went completely unkempt and insane.
Hero film with a guy in a costume kicking some ass. And, I guess the gripe that there wasn't enough action, I don't agree with that. I don't think it was really that slow. Some people were, a friend of mine who was with me said it was kind of slow and kind of meh. I disagree. I found it to be the most comic book movie, next to Thor Ragnarok, which went, turned it up to 11 as far as comic book is concerned. Yeah. But Armored Rhinos is pretty comic book. Hidden Cities is pretty comic book. And I love that. That's the MCU.
Before we go deep into it, just so you know, we are going to be doing spoilers on this. So if you haven't watched the movie, if you aren't interested in knowing any specifics about it, leave now, and you can always come back later after you've seen it and just watch our video later.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I did mention spoilers. So
Mikael, yeah, you can come on for the Kevin Sorbo thing. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to look at Geeks and Gamers and probably something else. I just wanted to get a feel for the Fandom Menace when the first Black Panther came out, and this is actually more reliable than that Critical Drinker one because that was a year later. This is actually around the time the movie came out.
We are going to spoil the hell out of this movie, right down to the end credit scenes, which we can get into because they're kind of pointless at this point. That they were not the best. But as far as the movie's concerned, again, I would put it in the upper tier of Marvel movies. Not
So he liked it quite a bit. I bet you if you ask him now, he's going to talk about how terrible and woke it is.
better than the Avengers or Captain America, Winter Soldier, or Guardians of the Galaxy. And I know Guardians isn't everybody's cup of tea. I know some people think it's the greatest Marvel movie and some people don't like it. And I kind of get that. Not really though. I love Guardians.
So pop counterculture. He was in here, the chat. Pop counterculture. Go to his channel. He's done some great stuff on Nerdrotic. He talks about how he kind of went like insane. Go check out his channel and subscribe because he does some great work on Nerdrotic. Because Nerdrotic had like this sane period where it's like, oh my god, he's like a reasonable person just talking about a movie that he liked. And then it's like the pandemic happened, his wife's business went under, and he just kind of went insane.
But it certainly was one of the better origin stories. I'm just thinking the placement in it wasn't, I don't think they did it. I know why they wanted to release it in February. I understand that, but there's Februaries and other years that you could have released it. I think this would have been better suited, released after Infinity War, to kind of set the stage for phase 4. If they're even going to call it a phase 4, because right now, all you have is Captain Marvel to set up phase 4. And that's not a movie I'm really excited about.
Yeah, he probably won't say that after watching Infinity War. Yeah, this is pre-Infinity War, so he doesn't even know
at all. To be honest with you, the character I've been a Miss Marvel fan.
Okay, guys, yeah, seriously, go to Pop Counterculture. He does a live stream talking about Nerdrotic that is fantastic. Check him out.
She's just not the best character in the Marvel.
But yeah, Nerdrotic went insane essentially during the pandemic. He was a totally like reasonable, normal YouTuber for the most part. I don't think he liked The Last Jedi still, but like it wasn't like the vitriol he does now. It's an entirely different experience.
Universe. She's pretty bland.
See, I'm kind of confused. Did this take place before Civil War? This in the timeline? That's what it looks like to me. It takes place after Civil War because, and Stinger aside. Is it after Civil War? Okay.
Yeah, because his dad dies in Civil War, so he gets the kingship, and it takes place before Infinity War, which it had.
I'm sorry, I meant in between, like him going and fighting in Civil War with the costume people, because remember he leaves, goes back to Wakanda at some point in Civil War. Does it take place within Civil War? I should have said.
No, it takes place after Civil War because he goes back to United Nations and all that. We'll get into that. I mean, we're not going to break down the movie, like we do a TV show. I can't take notes in the dark, and if you've seen it, you've seen it. So we're going to talk about that, and it's not going to be the whole podcast either. We also do the news after this podcast. So if you want to dip out after our review, I totally understand. But we talk about anything and everything on this podcast. And chat, we will get to you in just a moment. We don't want to get too far behind there, but I 7 to 7.5 out of 10. I mean, that's pretty good. Like I said, it's better than I think it's better than Thor. It's the first Thor, actually both. Dark World 2, way better than Dark World, but better than the Thor origin. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. The family had a lot of fun. My Logan loved it, and he's always my gauge. He's a 12-year-old boy, so he's your target audience for these superhero movies. And he came out of there going, "That was awesome," So that's my gauge, and if you've succeeded or not. If he starts getting bored and moving around a lot, then you haven't succeeded. He was locked in the whole time. So, and I didn't find it to be politically heavy-handed at all. To be honest with you, I mean, there's some stuff in there, but it wasn't at all. It was just a superhero movie, and done on the merits of a superhero movie, and done well. Now, was the CGI perfect? No, certainly not. And you could tell.
I can tell you which houses did which ones.
We'll see. I'm at the point where I'm kind of want to go away, but I kind of just want to see a little bit more details in what he's saying. But yeah, it's really interesting just watching this. This is like, I could see myself watching this, not out of like, not just to respond to some YouTuber being cringe, but just watching this and just genuinely enjoying this on my off time.
Because the big house that was in there, the one that was in the very first beginning of the credits there, they were the ones who did the whole scene of him dropping out of the plane to go and fight the poacher, or not the poachers, but the kidnappers and all that kind of stuff. They did all the pretty shots, all the money shots. The stuff that happened at the end, the big fight scene, that was just everyone else thrown in. And good God, that was some pretty bad CGI.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about, they farm out the CGI to different houses. They have Lucas.
My phone's dying. I'm just going.
Lucasfilm, or not Lucasfilm, but why am I blanking on the name now?
Well, there's Rhythm and Hughes used to be it, so this was the offshoot of Rhythm and Hughes, and I can't remember what the name of their house is.
No, ILM. Yeah, well, does all the main stuff, and it used to be, remember, you could tell the difference between like the Orphanage and ILM.
Yeah.
And the Orphanage would do better. They would always do better, but they just couldn't handle their money. They were having too much of a party. And actually, Iron Man 2 was like their last movie before they went out. But they farm it out to different houses because they have to just to get it out in time. Otherwise, these movies would come out like once every 5 years. So, and we don't expect it to be perfect all the time. So it's cool. It just, I don't like it when it looks rubbery. You know what I mean? When like when they're moving around,
stretching and kind of bouncing on it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Frame rates change. It gets a little weird. And I know you're not a fan of the shaky cam. There was a lot of shaky cam, a lot of close-ups to hide stuff.
The fight scenes for me were also it sort of reminded me of.
Okay, I think we got the mix. He didn't love it, but he liked it quite a bit. And this is like reasonable. It's weird. So let's go ahead. Let's see. Geeks and Gamers.
Hello, Geeks and Gamers. It's Jeremy coming to you with my review for Marvel's Black Panther. Now, as you know, this movie has been surrounded with fake controversy, to be honest with you, and just a lot of just unnecessary drama. And that's really disappointing because the movie's actually really good. And I don't waste time with my reviews. I'm not here to give you...
This is so crazy. There's no way they would be this positive towards this movie now. This is insane.
Like this whole plot of, the first act, the second act, who starred in it, who did this, whatever. I don't get into all that. There's other reviewers that can do that. I'm here just to get to the point. Start the video, get to the point. That way you know what I think. That way you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. It's really all it comes down to. So, Black Panther, really enjoyed the movie. I can't call it great, but it's damn sure close. It's really good. I enjoyed it a lot. All the performances were fantastic across the board. The direction was good. Michael B. Jordan was the standout for me. Dude was amazing. And why Andy Serkis isn't taken more seriously as a regular actor instead of a CG actor is beyond me, because the dude has a lot of screen presence himself. So yeah, I mean, across the board, the acting was great. The fight scenes were pretty good. They weren't on like Winter Soldier level or anything like that. But there was good chemistry, good acting, good action, good story across the board. It's a really consistently good film. I know it's being celebrated as the second coming, and then I know there's the opposite effect where people are trying to under-review it to try to offset the over-reviewing. I think that it's all just a bunch of stupid noise. At the end of the day, it's just...
Yeah, you won't want to be part of the hyperbole, would you, Jeremy? Jesus, this is like watching a different dude.
It's a really good movie, and I think you will enjoy it. I highly recommend it. It's not going to be my favorite Marvel movie. I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. I mean, I like Marvel movies. I like the MCU, and I have the utmost respect for the MCU. But I'm more of like a Dark Knight trilogy guy. That's my comic book films. And so it's definitely going to be probably in my top 5 or 6 Marvel films. So it's a really good movie. Really good, and I highly recommend it. That's really the bottom.
Yeah, Pop Counterculture Media brought up how Jeremy straight up loved The Last Jedi. Yeah. I believe he deleted it, but there is a clip circulating around where he says, I love The Last Jedi, and I believe the story is that he meant to say Force Awakens, but it seems weird that I think he says The Last Jedi a couple of times in that video, so it seems weird.
Bottom line here, I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm not trying to get into first act and second act and all this and breaking this down and breaking that down. The one thing I'll say is one thing that was difficult for me was in the theater, because I'm here in
theater. Yeah, I really actually don't have too much to say about this. This is just a genuine review from Jeremy. This is kind of shocking. I always thought maybe Jeremy was a genuine racist, but this actually feels like he's just grifting too. He just really puts on the angry guy persona when he grifts. This is interesting. I'm learning more about Jeremy Griggs as I go.
Houston. I'm not going to my regular theater back in Florida, and so I went and saw it in a regular 2D or a regular theater in 3D, which I hate. My God, I hate it. But it was the first showing I could get into today, and so I had to wear those horrible clunky glasses that basically just look like.
Yeah, I don't like 3D either. Wakanda Forever seats were filling up, and the one that fit my schedule is unfortunately going to be 3D, and I'm kind of disappointed. I want to see if I can get them transferred to a regular theater, but yeah, seems like I'm probably going to see Wakanda Forever in 3D.
Like you're in a car wash where they're filthy. It was so bad. So I can't tell if there were CG problems or not in this movie. I don't think there were, it was hard for me to tell if the CG looked great at times. And I don't know if that was the theater. I don't know if that was the stupid 3D glasses I had to wear. I don't know. I would like to see this movie in IMAX, which is my normal viewing, place where I go and see these amazing, beautiful movies in IMAX, so you can get the full immersive experience. And I didn't get that, unfortunately. And so I would like to know, did you guys notice any CG problems? Was I just looking at things through these terrible, stupid ass?
At the time, yes. Right now, it looks pretty good compared to some of the CGI I'm seeing.
3D glasses, and it kind of messed me up. Other than that,
yeah, nothing but media. They're all a grift. Yeah, I'm getting that sense now, because I used to actually, I assumed Nerdrotic was a grift and Critical Drinker was a grift. I thought Jeremy might actually be a genuine bigot. But looking at this, I'm like, Jesus Christ, no, it's all a grift. It's all fucking grift.
This is a really good movie. I highly recommend it. Ignore all the noise on all sides and just go watch a really damn good movie. One thing I'll say is I don't know why Martin Freeman was in this movie. It was almost like he's the token white guy now. And it's like, why do we have to worry about these things? If I don't give a shit.
Yeah, less white people in movie. I agree, Jeremy. Jesus Christ, I can't believe he's actually making that argument.
If you needed a white person. You don't need a white person. This story was perfectly told by an all-black cast. It's just stupid. I don't understand it. Not that he was bad, not that he took away from the story, because he didn't, but it just kind of felt like he was just there to have the white guy. And that's just so dumb to me. Stupid. Anyway, really good film. Highly recommend it. Michael B. Jordan was fan-freaking-tastic. Ryan Coogler did a great job. Action was good. Acting was good. Story was good. Good film. Go see it. Have a great day, everyone. Talk to you later.
This is kind of revealing. Okay, Jesus Christ. Jeremy Griggs is, it's all an act. Okay. What did Ryan Canal say? No, not newer stuff, older stuff. Was Ryan Canal not doing stuff when Black Panther came out? Huh. Who else was one of these prominent guys that would be around back then? Trying to think, who have I covered? I'm trying to remember people I've covered. If you can think of somebody I want you to look up. Ooh. That's somebody we could look up. This is just 2 minutes, so hey.
Before we get started, I wanted to remind you guys to check out this awesome comic by my bro called White Lily. You can even get a free copy of this comic over at pocketjackscomics.com. Again, that's pocketjackscomics.com. Check it out. So I finally got around to watching Black Panther earlier this week. Fantastic movie. Some folks want me to do
Oh my God.
a full-blown review, and I thought that was going to be a little bit cliche, so I figured what I'd do is speak on what people, more specifically libertarians, can learn from the film. And in that regards, I think it's more important to talk about the hype.
Yeah, nothing but media. I can understand why they refuse to bait anyone now. They can't keep up the pretense of challenge. Yeah, no, these guys are completely full of shit. It's all garbage. I don't understand. Like, I'm kind of surprised they don't kind of delete these videos. In a lot of ways, I'm happy they don't delete these videos, because now I can go back and look and see a different side of them, a side of them where I might have actually been like, oh, I kind of enjoy this. But yeah, this is a very interesting look
surrounding the film rather than the content of the movie itself. A lot of black folks gassed the hell out of this movie. There were lots of dramatics surrounding it, and there was a whole entire movement really behind it. You'd think this was way more than a comic book movie. It is not a secret that race was a driving force with the movie. Major comic book film, the cast is nearly all black. People were talking about how much this will empower blacks. There was even this one chick that said her soul was fed because the movie poster had no white women in it. So what does this mean? Regardless of how you feel about this, it really shows that a lot of black folks care a lot about culture and identity. And yeah, it's very nationalistic in a sense. So when you do market to these types of folks, you have to take that into consideration. It really doesn't matter whether or not you think this is a silly concept or not. It is something that they hold very dear. This sort of cling to culture and identity, all due to skin tone or geographical area, is generally accepted depending on the affair. This isn't an inherently bad thing unless you're trying to use aggression to bring about your ideal world. Now this gets dicey because some folks get offended when other races display this same cling to culture and identity. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he still got a little bit cringe there. But yeah, no, it's interesting. Look at these old reviews of Black Panther. Very interesting. It's a very different story going on. These guys are not the same at all.
They think order and chaos are somehow opposites and try to control what won't be.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.